Hello everyone, Ben Chapman here for another video for NumotGaming.com. Got a little Stone Scar weapons deck to be taking a look at. This is the deck I played to first place at the latest Scion's League Invitational. Pretty fun deck. The things that I find most fun about it are Oni Quartermaster. Whenever you play a weapon, draw a card, and Smuggler's Stash, return or draw 2 units and 2 weapons from the void. So these 2 cards give you a nice late game where you can draw tons of cards and get ahead of your opponents. It does have some other aspects to it, though. You do have some aggressive 1-drops and a 2-drop to put some weapons on. So we've got Ornate Katana. The Golems can give you weapons. The Shogun Scepter is a very aggressive card, but it's nice because it gives you not only a weapon, but it gives you an extra body in case they kill your unit. You can then use that extra Oni Ronin that you get to suit up. And then at the top end, we've got the Falchion here, which is nice way to gain life against the aggro decks, and just in general, pretty high-powered thing to do for when you have more mana or more power. And then Statuary Maidens, another thing that generates weapons. It makes those cudgels anytime you kill a unit. So often what actually happens in some matchups is you've got Champion of Chaos and Statuary Maiden who both have Deadly, and you'll suit them up, you'll send them in, hoping to trade with a Maiden in play, kill the opponent's unit, get a cudgel, maybe then be able to make, sometimes they have to double block, you get 2 cudgels, and you end up trading everything off. Like, you keep attacking, they have to block, they can't just keep taking the damage, and when the things trade off, you then cast Smuggler's Stash to redeploy everything again, and your opponent probably doesn't have enough cards to keep up with all that. Some other things going on here. One change from the tournament deck is that I'm playing 2 Vara's Favor instead of 2 Rakano Outlaw. I just felt like, while I liked having some extra units, the deck just felt short on power. Even at 27, I felt like I needed a little more to reliably get the stash off, cast your stashes, and the Quartermaster just means that, you know, you're pretty bottlenecked on power rather than cards or any other resource. So you really don't want to be missing power drops. We do have this monument to help with flood, and the lifesteal body is pretty relevant too, also against aggressive decks. What looks like a not too threatening 3/2 can get a lot bigger when you are making a lot of cudgels or just putting katanas on it or any of the other weapons. Charchain Flail is interesting, and what it is basically a removal spell. It's a relic weapon, and you cast it, say on turn 3, attack your opponent's 3-drop, kill it. The weapon dies, but if you bring it back with Smuggler's Stash and recast it, it's a 3/1 weapon in your hand with the Power Surge ability. So if I then played it for 5, it'd be an 8/1. So over time, it can get bigger and bigger, and for only one power, potentially you can take out something big. Because if maybe it's a you cast it for 4 on turn 4, and then on turn 6 you stash it back, and it's now a 4/1, and you use your extra power to cast it for 1, but because it was 4 before, it's now a 5/1 for 1 mana or 1 power. So you can get pretty efficient trades with it later in the game, but it comes at a cost of health. You're taking damage every time you do that, so you don't want to play too many of these, but it's also pretty good against decks that don't play enough units, or don't play very many units, like the control decks, as you can throw it down and hit the opponent directly with it, so that can be a way to victory in those matchups. I actually don't think Torch is like the best card in the deck in a lot of matchups, but in ranked play, there's too many aggro decks, and you need every bit of cheap interaction that you can get, so you're going to have to play that. Likely you should just be playing Torch if you're playing ranked, but in like a tournament setting when aggro decks maybe aren't as common, you might cut it for other things. Alright, so I think It gives you a decent overview of the deck. Definitely, I just wrote an article about it if you want to see more, get more details. But let's play some games. You can see how it plays out. Be right back with more games.